Today's lesson title is Unity, a Science of Mind Principle. This quarter of 2021, we are reading together this book by John Grevin called Oneness, the Destination You Never Left. And you probably saw it in the slides before our inspirational service here. And it's an easy book to read, and yet it does a great job providing a different perspective and expanding our ideas on oneness and who we truly are. Now, when you look in society, oneness might seem like a deep concept these days, based on how everybody's looking for difference and separation. But again, the truth is that we're all one, connected. As I mentioned, as the pandemic shows us, our very breath connects us all the way around the world. There is no separation between us. And you can discover or rediscover that oneness if you choose to look for it. It's the true nature of who we are. Again, demonstrated by our bodies. For instance, when we run or exercise, our heartbeat goes up, we get out of breath. But when we stop running, the body knows how to automatically come back to the normal heartbeat and the normal breath. When we get sick with a cold, the body knows how to bring us back to normal health and feeling well again. And when we have our busy brain for the day, if we will just sit and reflect or meditate, the brain can go back into a grounded and centered state of being for better mental health. We can find the true oneness if we're willing to be open to it. We have a Science of Mind textbook written by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, and on page 121, it says, quote, "While a drop of water is not the ocean, it does contain within it in itself all the attributes of the limitless deep." In other words, the wave is not separate from the ocean, even though each wave is unique. And so it is with us. We are one life, and we are an individualized expression of that one life. We have Science of Mind principles by which we philosophize. Listed on our website under What We Believe, you will find many of the Science of Mind principles. And in particular, one says, "We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence." In other words, there's only one life, and this life is God. And this life is good. And this life is my life, and it's your life now, expressing through each of us. Line yourself up with those thoughts. Line yourself up for looking and viewing and seeing and demonstrating that greater, higher truth. There's no anthropomorphic being judging us. That would be a God separate and outside of us. You don't tell a part of your body it's not your body. Judging is a human characteristic. We are a part of God, not outside of God. We are one with this universal wholeness, universal source, whatever you choose to call God. We are one body, one life. And there's only unconditional love that continues to give life, whether it's the weeds in your garden, the flowers that are bursting open, There continues to be infinite abundance and an infinite intelligence that lives in us, that lives in nature, that lives as us and through us. Again, we can look at the intelligence of the body. We can look at the intelligence of nature, constantly giving to us food and air, sustenance and grounding. Doctors may do surgery, but it's the body that does the healing. The body knows that wholeness and that oneness and restores us naturally. So if we learn to listen deeply from within, we will find that voice of unconditional love and infinite wisdom that guides us back to our true divine nature. And when we find that voice, we find that life synchronizes itself with us, or more likely, us with life, because we are in tune with it. And these synchronicities in your life will be personal to you. Sometimes it's difficult to describe to others who are not of a belief or a faith in a higher power how these coincidences work. Again, there's synchronicities and things happen that are connected personally. It may be conversations in your head or conversations you have over time with your heart. Maybe you've had conversations with others. You've read something, you've heard a song or a saying or a podcast, and all of a sudden it comes together like pieces of a puzzle if you're paying attention. And if you're not paying attention, you simply don't notice life's synchronicities as you tune in to your greater wisdom and truth. There's a website that's called The Law of Heart Coherence. And there's an article that's called Synchronicity, How to Synchronize with the Quantum Field. So now I jump into sort of the science of synchronicity. And synchronicity was actually more, I'll say scientifically or more prominently became known by Carl Jung. And synchronicity is usually dismissed by our society, again, as a coincidence, a situation that no one can explain. Yet more and more people realize that there is something more going on. We are ascending. We are becoming much more aware. And the article talks about maybe these signals from the invisible do have meaning. Should we listen to them and not rationalize everything with our brains? Being so we can truly listen to mind and heart together, which becomes wisdom. Now, I have lots of examples in my life. And again, some of them are more personal that don't make as much impact for people outside of me because of the conversation and the experiences of my life. But I'll use the examples that many of you have heard before. I worked for Chico State for 25 years and was bullied out in 2013. And I was very disappointed, sad, hurt, frustrated, angry about that. I love Chico State. I love the teaching and learning environment, the culture, my colleagues there. But then I found a job at the chancellor's office, and that was a miracle for me. And while I wasn't happy about leaving Chico State, lo and behold, the chancellor's office job became an excellent expansion for my career, my skills. I got to meet and influence more people in the California State University 23 campuses. I got to influence more, connecting more with faculty and teaching and learning, and constantly improving teaching and learning, exchanging with a collaborative community, the integration of technology. And I was telecommuting, meaning I was living in Chico, but working for the chancellor's office. And in March 2019, leadership had changed. They didn't see the value of academic technology. And they basically said, you'd either need to move to Long Beach because we're not letting anybody telecommute anymore. Meaning, basically move myself down to Long Beach and show up at the office every day. Of course, again, by another divine miracle, and again, these are not coincidences to me, I was able to return to Chico State in a brand new position that would have never been created had I not left. And of course, in March 2020, 500,000 students, faculty, and staff are telecommuting. And I can smile and laugh at that now, but I have to tell you, it wasn't pleasant and I wasn't comfortable and happy when those changes occurred. But I look back now and I understand that I was divinely guided. And this is, again, very personal to me based on the changes and the thoughts and the things that I went through. And, you know, I really wanted to stand in a river about staying at Chico and then staying at the chancellor's office. But it's like being in a river where the energy of that river is just knocking you over and you cannot stand there and resist. And instead, move my thought to get in the inner tube, Kathy, and ride the waves in the river. And now I look back and all the pieces have fallen into place. And I credit my belief and my faith in a greater good being revealed in me, as me, and through me. Doing my daily practice, connecting with my higher inner power and knowing my oneness, I see it and it gets revealed and demonstrated in my life because that's what I'm looking for. In the Science of Mind textbook, there's a chapter that's titled Man's Relationship to the Spiritual Universe. And there's a section on unity. And it says, if I have a mind and you have a mind and God has another mind, that's three separate minds that cannot talk to each other because they're different minds. There'd be no way to communicate across those minds if there weren't one mind, capital M. Now, no two people are alike, just like each wave is not the same in the ocean. So we are individualized expressions, a part of the one mind, sort of holographic as I like to see it. In the same way that there is different waves, we are each an individualized expression of the one mind. And what makes man different than animals is our self-awareness or consciousness, our self-knowing mind. And the self-knowing mind perceives reality. It also sees and recognizes greater truths. So you might say, well, with the political scenes these days, how is it that these groups can see such different truths? Well, we have the free will to choose our thoughts and beliefs. The self-knowing mind has the power of creativity, imagination, illumination, vision, revelation, intuition, and many other expanding modes. Which means we have the power to create our world by our words and beliefs. We have the power to create our own world through the power of our words. And so we each create our own world, but we also continue to be able to become more aware of greater and higher truths if we open to it. And all of the sages in the past have revealed that in multiple ways, multiple practices, but they have revealed the higher truths. So it begins with, how do you talk to yourself? The same way your parents talk to you, teachers talk to you. Do you ever replay tapes in your head of what other people told you when you were a child and didn't have so much power and knowledge and choice? Have you changed those tapes consciously? Have you changed your language? Have you changed how you see yourself? Because, you know, as an adult, you now have the knowledge, the power, and the ability to make your own choice about what you tell yourself about yourself and about others. And that's extremely important to be thinking about. To go beyond our previous generations' thoughts and beliefs. Thinking our thoughts and beliefs impresses into a law, a universal law, that acts on our words to create our own reality. And our repeating thoughts become our beliefs. This means you start finding demonstrations in your own life of what you believe, not what you think you believe, what you really believe in your gut and in your heart, which are sometimes different things, and hence why we need to contemplate and sit with ourselves. And all of this is great as far as I create my own reality until life stops working for you. Meaning you may have beliefs of otherness, of separateness, that others are different than us. And then that becomes problemed relationships and imbalanced situations, which is what we're seeing in our society today. When we really truly see that we're one and that we're whole, we won't be treating people differently or creating systems that aren't fair or equitable. But we have to expand and align our thoughts and beliefs with that greater truth. You know, again, our body understands oneness. If you're healthy, the liver cells don't talk bad about the heart cells, and the brain cells don't look down on the stomach cells, meaning all the cells and the organs work together for the one body, understanding unity and wholeness of the one body. Beliefs about never having enough becomes greed, and then that never gets satisfied, one's hunger for money or power. And then they're not willing to share. I say they, we, we're all a part of this consciousness. Then we're not willing to share that abundance with others, but think we have to keep getting more and more and more and more. And on the other end, those that get squeezed have a deep belief perhaps about unworthiness. This country has a race consciousness. That is a group of beliefs that have been handed down over time, that came from believing in a human hierarchy. I'm very excited. I think that next year I already found a book that will be on our book list. I was listening to Oprah's podcast, a series of 8 episodes. This is a part of her book club, the book called Caste, C-A-S-T-E, The Origins of Our Discontents. And this is written by Isabel Wilkerson. And she received lots of praise for this book, unlimited number of New York Times bestseller, many of the media recognizing this book as just an outstanding book. It says in this brilliant book, Isabel gives us a masterful portrait of an unseen phenomenon, i.e. beliefs. An unseen phenomenon in America. She explores through an immersive and deeply researched narrative, as well as stories about real people, and how America today and throughout its history has been shaped by a hidden caste system, a rigid hierarchy of human rankings. There is so much to say about this book. I hope you look it up. Isabel points forward to ways that America can move beyond the artificial and destructive separation of human divisions and toward hope in our common humanity, i.e. unity. So going back to Science of Mind, you know, there are different mental depths and heights from which we can look out from life. And a metaphor would be, you can be in the weeds in a valley and you can be on the mountaintop. And you will see different things, whether you're in the weeds in a valley or whether you're at the mountaintop with the view. We can arrive together at a consciousness of unity only in such degree that we are looking for it. And this is the interesting thing. We are looking for it, we are looking with, and we are looking at. We arrive at a consciousness of unity only in such degree that we see what we are looking for, we are looking with, and looking at. And that's why we believe that heaven is merely for the lack of a perception of harmony. Hell is a phantom abode of our morbid imaginations. Heaven and hell are a state of consciousness. So I'm going to move to quantum theory, which we realize in science today. Science of Mind, the first textbook was written in 1936. We are 85 years beyond the original first version of the Science of Mind. And yet quantum theory, which has appeared within the last couple decades, quantum theory has introduced a concept that there's a quantum field from which all matter originates. These theories prove that we are all a part of a larger whole, and that everything in our universe is connected energetically. Our focused attitudes, intentions, and actions can interact with the universe within this theory, creating our personal and collective reality. The quantum theory confirmed Young's observations and conjectures, since he already referred to the field, the unified world. And in this unified world, the chance is only an indication of an underlying reality. So, for your spiritual practice this week, I hope that you will move yourself to look for unity and wholeness. To look for unity and wholeness as you are that universe, unity and wholeness. As you align yourself with those truths, I know that you'll find more synchronicity in life being constantly revealed for a greater expression. If you choose it, if you allow it, if you change your thoughts and move into believing it, then you will demonstrate it and you will see it. Namaste.